Valera, whose full name was, of course, Vincent, but he insisted his skater friends call him Valera after some weird meme he'd seen online, was sitting in his room, surveying his strategic arsenal. It was an awkward Friday evening in suburban California. The sun had long since disappeared behind the palm trees, leaving behind the warm, faint glow of the streetlights. Valera's parents had gone to a corporate party in San Diego, leaving him with clear instructions. No loud parties, no strangers, no trouble, Vincent. But Valera, who had just turned 16, felt the pressure to be cool, the pressure to feel even a fraction of what he saw in high school movies, and most importantly, the pressure from his friends, for whom this night was meant to be Operation First Sip. On the desk, next to the history textbook Valera was supposed to be reading, stood the proud and completely illegal for them trophy, a bottle of Irish cream liqueur. Max, the local supplier, and the oldest in the group, he was a whole 17 and a half and looked 25, had brought it. "Listen up, guys," Valera said, running a hand through his messy red hair. "Mom and Dad will be back tomorrow lunchtime. We have to be quiet, like ninjas on a carpet. No full volume rap, no yelling. We're just trying it and getting a feel for the atmosphere." 4 people were gathered in the room. Valera, or Vincent, the nervous but determined host of the evening; Max, calm, experienced, according to him, and the main organizer; Chloe, the artist, who promised that if they drank she would be able to see new colors, a fact she didn't forget to mention every 5 minutes; and Sam, the quiet one, always with headphones around his neck, who only came because he was afraid of missing out on something important, but looked like he wanted to bolt. Valera carefully fetched 4 juice glasses from the kitchen. Max poured a meager portion of the cream liqueur into each. The fragrant, sweet smell filled the room. "It's like a milkshake, but for grown-ups," whispered Chloe, her eyes glistening with anticipation. "All right, a toast," Max announced, raising his glass. "To adult life, and to not getting caught." "To not getting caught," Valera and Chloe quietly echoed. Sam simply nodded. The first sip was a disappointment. Valera had expected something burning and bitter. Instead, it was sweet, like melted ice cream. "That's it?" Valera asked. "Seriously? I like this even better than my nightly hot cocoa." Max smiled his experienced smile. "First round, bro. Give it 20 minutes. For now, let's turn the music on quietly." They moved to the living room. Valera put on the old boombox. The music, some indie rock from the 90s, they called good old stuff, started softly and then grew louder and louder. At first, the effect was barely noticeable. Chloe began drawing figures on a napkin that, according to her, radiated astral energy. Sam, taking off his headphones, spoke for the first time all evening, but his thoughts were chaotic and funny. But Valera felt extremely confident. He felt like he understood the essence of the universe. He started telling a joke about a raccoon reaching for a donut, but the story stretched into 10 minutes and included a dramatic pause and a raccoon voice impression. "Valera, man," Max tried to stop him, who was also starting to feel it. "We need a little more for the atmosphere." And that's when the fatal mistake happened. They decided they needed a game. "We're playing Truth or Dare," Chloe proclaimed, who was now seeing not only new colors, but also, apparently, new dimensions. During the game, Valera got Dare to perform a victory dance on the coffee table as loudly and dramatically as possible. "Show us how you win at life, Valera," Max shouted. Valera, without thinking twice, climbed onto the coffee table. He launched into his victory dance, which resembled a mix of ballet, karate, and trampoline jumps. The music was already blaring at the limits of acceptable volume.
They were laughing so loudly that Valera could feel his lungs vibrate. Sam and Max began to sing along 3 octaves too high. Through the window, which was open for fresh air, this entire cacophonous concert echoed across the quiet suburb. Meanwhile, in the house next door, Mrs. Davis, known for her love of silence, orchids, and hot peppers, was attempting a complex game of online chess against an AI bot. The loud yell, which sounded exactly like an Indian war cry that Valera let out during his table somersault, made her misclick and lose her queen. That was the final straw. 10 minutes later. The laughter abruptly stopped. In the light of the streetlight shining through the window, Valera saw them. 2 shadows. 2 men in dark blue uniforms. The police. Lucas, the neighborhood nerd who stood on their porch like a messenger of doom, quietly whispered, "Mrs. Davis called. I think she thought you were kidnapping someone. Heard the screams." Valera felt his insides clench. This was worse than failing a math exam. This was a real violation of the law. Max tried to hide the bottle behind the sofa. Chloe instantly froze with a marker in her hand, her face wider than the sketchpad paper. Sam put on his headphones, hoping to become invisible. The door opened. Standing on the threshold were 2 officers, one tall, mustachioed like a cartoon character, the other young and clearly unhappy about being called out for a teen rebellion. "Good evening," the mustachioed officer said calmly but authoritatively. "We received a call for a noise complaint. Are you all alone here, young people?" Valera, gathering all his newfound and rapidly disappearing confidence, straightened up. "No, sir. We were just watching a movie, and we laughed a little. It was a very funny scene." The young officer scanned the room. The boombox at maximum volume, the overturned chair, the smell of cream liqueur, which was unfortunately hard to mistake for hot cocoa. "Looks like your movie is rated 21 plus, the young officer said dryly, nodding towards the bottle peeking out from behind a pillow. "IDs for everyone present, and where are your parents, son?" The end of the evening was long, boring, and completely sober. Valera's parents were called in San Diego. They had to rush back, their party ruined, and the look on Valera's father's face when he saw the police car outside their house was priceless. A mix of fury, embarrassment, and absolute betrayal. Chloe never did see any new colors. Max had to admit where he got the alcohol. Sam got a reprimand for just sitting there and not trying to stop the madness. And Valera? Valera got a month of grounding, a confiscated phone, and the realization his first experience with cool adult life had turned into a spectacular failure. After the police left and his friends, having received a severe dressing down, went home, his father sat down next to Valera, who was slumped on the couch. "You know, Vincent," his father said, rubbing his strained forehead, "I had my first time too. And guess what? I got caught too. Maybe it's just a rite of passage. But next time, if you want to drink, just wait until you're 21. And please do not dance on the table." Valera barely nodded, feeling that that little sip of cream liqueur was the most expensive and worst drink of his life. Operation First Sip was a bust, but the story was definitely long and interesting.